This is group Luna 20.
Alright, so good afternoon. I am Tobias Bittner.
I'm Sarah Sattler. I'm Victoria Rublik. I'm Mary Kaiser.
Alright, so today we're going to be presenting you on one of the lunar missions, Luna 20. So if you can go ahead and forward the slide. Alright, so as you can read here, Luna 20 was more or less a program set out by the Soviets in a competition with the Apollo mission. Their ultimate objective was to put a man up on the moon and get him out there, but that never happened. And so Luna 20 was actually just a sample collector that they did get to the moon after Luna 18 did fail. Alright, and so just real quick, some of the landing sites. And so all the red sites here, you can see they're all Soviet sites. And here is the Luna orbiters, the lunar orbiters that landed down after orbiting. And all these blue sites are all the United States missions through, and then this pink one right here is one of the Japanese missions.
So these are the objectives specific to the Luna 20 mission, but the Luna program consisted of 24 missions, and the objectives more or less remain the same, but specifically for Luna 20, they wanted to collect information about the moon and its environment, and to plan future lunar missions, especially a manned mission to the moon, which, as Toby already mentioned, is something that they never succeeded in. So basically, it was just a mission in a series of missions that was aimed at something that was never accomplished.
Okay, so we learned the answer to previous objectives by launching the 24 missions in the Luna program, and the previous experience that we had with that, collecting samples and revamping the equipment so we get better results.
Okay, so the next two slides are all 24 missions that they conducted. There were 5 different types. There was lander, lunar flyby, orbiter, rovers, and sample collectors. Lunar flybys just took photos of the moon. Orbiters orbited the moon, they took photos, they measured the magnetic field and gravity and the chemical compound of it. Go to the next slide, please. The sample return took dirt samples or soil samples from the moon, and rovers also took soil samples, and they conducted experiments on the moon. Luna 20 also led to Luna 23, which was a failed mission, but it was also to collect soil samples. And Luna 24 was a successful mission where they collected the most soil samples from the moon. And this is Luna 23. Site A is where Luna 23 tipped over, and Site D was supposed to be where it was supposed to land.
Alright, Luna 2 was one of the missions that augmented Luna 20. It was the first human-made object to crash into the moon, so that laid the groundwork for Luna 20 by finally getting an object that actually made it to the moon. Luna 15, there was kind of like this huge controversy about it because it was launched at the same time as Apollo 11, and some of the Americans actually went and talked to the Soviet Union. And the Soviet Union lied about what their mission was. They said that their mission was just to transmit radio signals and take orbital photos, but that was all a complete lie. Their actual mission was an attempt to land a robotic probe onto the moon and collect samples. It ended up crashing onto the moon, so that was the first probe to make it to the moon, but they weren't able to bring it back. So, next. Luna 16 was basically the next, it was the same thing as Luna 15, except it actually succeeded in bringing back a sample of the moon. So, and then I made a comparison of Luna 16 and Luna 20 because the two of their missions were super similar. So they both landed on the moon, they both collected a sample of the moon. Luna 16 collected a sample of lunar regolith, and what that is it's just basically loose dirt that's just on the surface of hard rock on the moon. And that was in September 1970, and that was on the moon, and that was like right next to where Luna 20 landed later. So like I said, very, very similar missions. So yeah, they both used a drill and they both landed near each other. So, and then that is where Luna 16 landed, and that is where Luna 20 landed. As you can see, they're very, very close to each other.
So Luna 18 was the mission that was supposed to be Luna 20, but it failed because of a descent issue. Oh, and the hardest part was working with the robotics because America had men that were able to collect samples, but the Soviet Union was using robotics to pick up the soils.
Okay, so the successes of the lunar program, most of them were to return samples of the moon. So as you have flybys, as Mary said, you have orbiters, rovers. So they were the first lunar satellite, they had first analysis of lunar soil, lunar rover development, and multiple things for the lunar program itself. So the failures of the lunar program were that it did not get a manned mission to the moon, and then out of the 24 missions, they had 8 spacecraft failures. So the success of Luna 20 was that it was able to collect a 30-gram sample of lunar soil, and they were able to return it to the Soviet Union.
So how we got better? Overall, the mission was like a huge success. It went very well. Basically, the Luna program set the groundwork for the Apollo program, and it basically it remained a step of America, like every step of the way, pretty much up until when America finally landed a man on the moon. And of course, when America landed men on the moon, they collected actual samples. But the lunar program was able to get robotics on the moon at a much earlier date and to collect samples, and that was honestly just a huge success, being able to do that. So really the only thing that could have gotten better was they could have spent less time and money conducting the program, because as we mentioned, there's 24 missions and they still didn't actually achieve their goal of landing a man on the moon. So if there was less failures in the sense of like not crashing into the moon and working more on like soft landings, that's pretty much the only thing that they could have done better, other than landing a man on the moon. So.
Flight overview, it launched on February 14, 1972, and 4 days later it entered the lunar orbit of the moon. It landed on the moon on the 21st, where it collected the 30-gram sample of soil, and it returned back to the Soviet Union on the 25th.
So how long did it take? The Luna 20 mission just took a few years to build and launch, and then the lunar program involving the 24 missions took 17 years to complete.
Alright, and then just kind of a summary once again. So overall, the Luna program was a huge success for the Soviet Union. They did go through and they learned a lot of valuable information regarding space travel, rocket launching, how to deal with environments inside of space on the moon. But it did fail because they did not get a man on the moon by the time the Americans did, and that was their ultimate objective.
Alright, so questions. Which of the following was not accomplished by the Luna program? A, taking photos of the far side of the moon. B, soft landing on the moon. C, landing an astronaut on the moon. Or D, returning lunar samplers of the moon back to Earth.
Anybody?
Yeah. Which of the following were Luna 20 mission objectives? A, collect information about the moon and its environment. B, plan future lunar missions. C, plan a manned mission to the moon. Or D, all the above. Yeah. Alright. And what was the controversy that surrounded the Luna 15 mission? A, it orbited the moon at the same time as Apollo 11. B, it could cause interference with Apollo 11 transmitting radio signals by also transmitting radio signals. C, it was designed to land on the moon even though the Soviet Union lied about it at the time. Or D, all of the above. It's D, all of the above.
Okay, so when did Luna 20 launch? A, February 25th, 1972. B, 2 weeks ago. C, it never did. And D, February 14th.
C, A, B.
It's D, February 14th.
It returned on the 25th.
And what were the other two success sample return missions?
It's B.
Luna 16 and Luna 20.
Hey.
Alright, just leave that there.
Tell me as it's sometime.
Alright, so good afternoon. I am Sergei Korolev. When I was just a young boy, I was growing up on the streets in Russia. I did really well in school and got to go to university. And the university I went to is often being compared to MIT. And once I graduated from that, I was put into the Soviet space program. But during the height of Putin's clearing out of people, I was sent to the gulags and spent several years there. But I was lucky because I was put in part of a group of scientists that we went and we raided Germany once we had taken over parts of it to go and see what rocket technology they had and to salvage any of it. And eventually I became the head engineer of the USSR rocket program, and we went and we designed rockets. And so with the Luna program, I was in charge of watching all the launches and making sure that the rockets operated successfully. During Luna 20, we only had to make one minor adjustment, and that was mid-flight, about 10 minutes into the flight, leaving Earth's atmosphere. We had winds and we were at the wrong angle to hit the moon. So we did make that adjustment, and I sat at the control center at the top of the command center and just gave out commands to everybody that was down there. Do we have any questions? No? All right, thank you.